Charlene, did you say something to me? I didn't quite hear.
Would you like to conduct?
Oh, okay, thank you. I don't know, the sound is kind of muddied, so I don't always hear exactly what people are saying.
Oh,
Welcome out, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well, and call this meeting to order. And I think we've all had a chance to look at the minutes of the last meeting, and wonder if someone would like to make a motion to accept those minutes.
I move to accept them.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. And now we'll turn things over. If there is not any business among the committee members, we'll turn this over to Charlene.
Thank you. We are in the process of recruiting for some new committee members. The city has been working on a new kind of application process, and it has been a really slow roll, and I apologize for that. But we're just going to go ahead and move ahead with it the old-fashioned way, and then move those applications into the city's new system. So we will get you guys some help and some replacements ASAP. All things considered, I think we've had a pretty good summer. I definitely have some summer reading stats that I can talk to you guys about, and then also put in our city council presentation. Let me get to that. That was provided to you by Outreach. It was a good year overall. I'm gonna, let's see. Maybe I can. Let's see. Just 1 second here. I've almost forgotten how to function in the world of Zoom. You guys see that?
Yeah.
So, this year's summer reading was fairy tale themed, and it was a hybrid model of some in-person activities and some take-home activities and some activities by appointment. I think we kind of hit the sweet spot for a lot of it because we had kind of hit the downturn of cases, and so we were able to participate in person with a lot of people. You can see that we had a better response than last year. Still looking to climb up a bit from previous, but total of 2,187 participants, 447 teams. Teams are usually families, and only 20% of the people who registered did not earn any of the badges. And I guess we would have to dig a little further into why they chose not to participate in that, whether they lost skiing going on, or they just really didn't want to do the activities in a prescribed way. So maybe they did a little picking and choosing as they went through the summer, but that's also consistent. So it's just a little bit of an interesting point of view for those who joined the summer reading adventure. Total event attendance, we had almost 6,000, 5,733. We had a good cross-section of ages, including parents and older family members, individuals, so we felt pretty good about the age breakout. Let's see, another. We've been talking about ways to reach out to other communities. We did have some representation from those who are Asian and Hispanic, or some other races in very small amounts, but we were happy to see that there was some representation there. These are all the schools across the county that were represented, so it's not just necessarily an Orem thing, and that's not a bad thing. Some of these folks have non-resident cards, and some of them probably just participate with us because that's either what they used to or that's what they prefer, either way. And then for our events, Great Scott Magic was a super fun in-person event. We packed the new Library Hall Auditorium, so multiple shows for that. Fantasy Quest was kind of a choose your own adventure as you maneuvered through kind of stations is kind of a pedestrian word, but little adventures throughout the library where some of the input that the participants had kind of directed the activity. And then you can see we had take-home activities, we had teen after hours. Dungeons and Dragons is very popular again. I think it has hopefully lost some of the speculation that it's a poor influence on people that had maybe in the 80s, but it's popular. We've had good response from the community and even community mentors who've agreed to help us with some of those events, so that's something new. Care of Mystical Creatures was a Scales and Tales event that was had at Library Hall, and kids enjoyed that. I worked at the Summerfest, and we had Scales and Tales shows out there, and I tried to make sure that everyone who enjoyed those shows knew that they were coming to the library in hopes that it would, entice anyone who's not a normal library program goer or library attender to maybe check it out. That's one of our primary concerns, and I guess new goals is to focus on how do we expand the reach of the library, whether it's through better information or different offerings or different approaches or partnerships, so all that kind of stuff. We had a really great attendance at the halfway price pickup, so that's good. And then the fairy tale escape room was fun. They did it outside in the courtyard between the children's wing and library hall, so it was still able to be an outdoor event as they moved families through. And then in a really interesting, innovative finale, they tracked down a company that actually is they have full knight armor and regalia, and they do demonstration fighting or something, and so they called it the Night finale, and it was quite robust, and the kids loved it, and the knights were really into it from a physical standpoint, so it was a good little different event. We had to kind of review some of our responses as to how we make contracts and stuff, because not every day that a city organization contracts with knights to do demonstration fighting for kids, but no one was injured, so it was good. So we can share some of that summer reading information. Sorry, that was mentioned there. There's some of that was really good. We've also had really good. Let's see. I remember how. We also had a different approach to story time this summer. We don't like to disconnect activities and programs from the library, but given that children had not had the opportunity to be vaccinated, we went ahead and did our summer story time out at the stage at City Center Park. It's right next to All-Star Playground, and we also had a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club who received a grant to provide lunches to anyone who wanted a lunch. You didn't have to qualify in an income standpoint or anything. So we partnered together with them. It was a really successful opportunity. We served a lot of people. We served a lot of people who had never come to Storytime before, and whether they just happened to come to the park those days or were coming to check out the lunch program or something else, that's what they felt the best doing in order to continue the momentum of keeping kids as safe as possible in a group setting. So we decided to continue on with that through September at least to see where things are. We do have the auditorium space where we can spread kids out if the weather turns, but we did have like a couple of little storm showers during our story time during the summer, and the kids just came right up on that stage with the story tellers, and it turned out okay. So kudos to children's staff for being flexible and taking on the challenge of, just providing good sound and a good opportunity out at the stage, because we're still very focused on trying to keep people safe. So that was a good win for us. Other things that have been new initiatives this year is we have received 2 grants to offer mobile hotspots for those who might not have internet at home. The first grant opportunity was a digital inclusion, well, I guess we have 3 grants now. Digital inclusion grant from the state of Utah for people who do not have access to all the technology or the skill set to access all the technology that we might like them to have. That was a pretty small grant. So then we partnered with the city's community development block grant, or CDBG program. And that's traditionally a program that is geared towards people who have moderate and lower income. So we did have to do a very short income application for that part of the grant. And then we were able to pick up another grant from the state library to continue to offer the program through this year. And it's no longer income qualified, so anyone can use them. We're just tracking the stats. We've had it used. We have 45 units. We've had them check out over 75 times. People can check out the units for 6 weeks at a time, and they can renew if there is one available. And so far we have not had demand that has prevented anyone who wanted to renew them. We are starting to see an upswing since we have removed the income qualification requirement. So I suspect they'll be even more heavily used this fall and winter. But we have been racking our brains on the best approach for digital inclusion. And it's a tough one because we've tried to do classes in the past that have not necessarily been well attended, probably because it's very hard to, one, for people who are working and maybe not devoting a whole lot of time to obtaining digital inclusion skills, to carve out a block of time for a class. 2, so much of our advertising is in the digital inclusion realm these days that trying to advertise effectively to people who are not necessarily as device driven as others is a little bit challenging. So we've been looking for different opportunities to bump up the digital inclusion. We are seeing good internet area usage these days, so we're just trying to maneuver our way through that. Obviously, the student element of using the computers in the study rooms and the study areas are all coming back to us now, so we're looking at different ways, especially with these new grant opportunities that come in and out of a possibility. We have just started the Orem Reese program that took off this last night with Donald Davis at the hall. We probably did see a couple of challenges to the crowd there. One, it was right after Labor Day, which was a tough time to rally people back. And 2, we do have COVID concerns. People are wondering about what COVID precautions there are. We are not able at this time, with the direction from our leadership, to require everyone to be masked yet. We're working on that. We have a fair number of people wearing the masks in the library. A lot of the employees wear them, especially in public areas, to try and encourage the public to wear them. But it is not a hard and fast requirement these days. But we continue to be impressed with the community's desire to be respectful of fellow patrons and staff members. I was outside just a little bit ago and watching families come out, and they even had their littles in masks, which I just think is so generous and really a kind effort to participate in community spaces. So it's always heartwarming to see families take on that responsibility and do so well with it. So the Orem Reese continues on. It is the ballad of Frankie Silver, and we have some little clips for you guys to make sure to get them to you. There's a number of kind of interesting programs, everything from murder ballads of Appalachia to the author herself coming out, so that should be an exciting one. The outreach team is, they are in an interesting state right now because we have 3 flex employees and they are all expecting babies. And they are in varying states. One has just barely had her baby in the last couple of days. Another one is so sick she can not lift her head off the pillow. We have the full gamut there. So they are working through. We're going to hire 2 new part-time interns to try and get us through. Lori Stevens, who's a librarian in outreach, she's going to have some back surgery, so she will certainly be out for a chunk of time. And we didn't really want to approach it from a seasonal standpoint, but we're trying to look at it as an internship opportunity and see how it goes, see if we get any takers on that. But outreach is doing well. Their biggest concern on staffing is not getting through the season to the new year. It's, how much time do they devote to planning for the next year? So other staff is trying to help offset their issues where we can. We've switched out the art and library hall. Library hall is a good venue for, just turn on the lights and turn on the sound system. So some of that is very helpful to them. We're working through that. We have got some staffing changes underway. It is, it's not the greatest scenario for everyone. And we're sorry that it has come to this, but the city as a whole has gone through an extensive compensation study, and we have some part-time benefited people in the library and in other departments, and part-time benefited as a job option is going away citywide. So the city's been working with employees to look at different options for those jobs. There's a pretty generous severance that people can take if they don't feel like they want to stay on and take on a full-time job, or they can work through the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th, and then, convert to either potentially a full-time job or a flexible position. So there's a lot of different options, and we have people kind of considering them in all different ways. We don't love it. We're losing, a lot of knowledge, a lot of institutional experience. Our children's staff, we have 3 members who are 3 part-time members who are just, generational influencers in our children's area, and their party's coming up on the 14th, so that'll be something new. But some of them are really excited to have the chance to enter a new stage of life, and others are struggling with it, and we're just trying to navigate it. We've been combining part-time jobs as best we can for the last 9 years because we knew this was coming. We just didn't know exactly when. So I'm glad it lasted 9 years at least, but it's not amazing. But we're working through it. Staff has a really good attitude, and they're just amazing people. So we've presented a go-forward plan that is kind of a different model for the needs that we will be addressing once these highly valued and valuable people are transitioning. Some of the positions are turning to full-time, and then if there's a little bit of leftover, we're augmenting with flex employees. Others are maybe changing in nature a little bit, like a part-time librarian position is being considered to change to a full-time associate librarian position because that works better for the needs of the organization at this time. And city management has been pretty responsive to our desire to kind of use the money that is being vacated in the budget for these positions to the best advantage of the library. So we wish we did not have to say goodbye to friends, of course, but it's going to be kind of a rebuilding year with some new staff and some new positions and others working in a new full-time role. So it's kind of a challenging part, and we hate to stress anybody out by having to change any of their jobs, but we're going through it at this point. We've had some just regular retirements over the summer, and we'll probably see more just regular retirements in the next year to 18 months. So those people are already working on succession planning and different things like that. So it's just kind of I think it's happening in a lot of industries. They say the exodus is going to get us all because they just aren't that busy. There aren't going to be that many people to take the jobs, but we did recently fill children's assistant librarian spot, and they had some very good candidates for that, so that was helpful. Any questions about that? Have you guys heard anything? Or I mean, it's concerning for sure. We've had some concerns, but I do think that the HR department's tried to look at, you know, how to be as generous as they can given the circumstances, and it's hard. So we're getting through it, but other than that, we are working on a couple of things. We met with some space planners regarding the front entrance of the library, particularly with COVID. We've been looking at options to track travel patterns and other things. We decided that the first step in changing the way the movement is we are, we're just gonna have to stop doing special book sale, at least multiple times a year. We may do it one time a year, but that area just became a real stopping point for everyone, either to look at the new books or to look at the new books for sale. And it was too congested in that area. So we also are looking to, so we've moved some shelving back. We've moved some shelving back towards the windows to kind of free up some space. And then we're going to be ordering some new shelving for that area, and we're going to move the holes from the little cubby hole corner to the center as you come in. Our goal is to keep people from coming in, going there, coming back out, going there, you know, those kind of movements, just because it gets very congested in that hold area. And the hold shelves are 26 years old, and they either need to be rebuilt because they're a little rickety or relocated. So we've done some research. Our tech services division manager, Anthony, has done a lot of research on which hold shelves we'd like to buy. So we're going to order those soon and deploy those out in that center area. Long term, we may recapture that hold shelf space in the back of Sept and do something a little bit more, I don't know, exciting with our book drop, maybe a low for kids and a high for adults, or make it more kind of visually impacting. Of course, our Sept staff, they were really accustomed to having people walk in and put their items on the cart because we were quarantining items for a certain amount of time, and of course they loved that because they were already on the cart, but it looked really messy, and it did send people right into the same exact space. So we want to hear their concerns about the best ways to receive books back, and I told them maybe you need to try out some of those carts that lift as you empty the books to see if that would, you know, be any easier on the staff than picking them up off the floor or picking them up after a smaller bin or kind of thing. So, and then we also want to just redo that back wall of Sept. It has some kind of partition areas that make it hard to update the graphics or to have much storage or anything like that there. So we've talked about different ways to do that. We are still kind of suffering at the hands of getting small contractors to do some work for us. So that has not been an easy part. And then we will definitely be replacing the countertop of circulation, the big desk. We probably won't rebuild the lower desk at this time, but we will get a lighter, brighter countertop. And then Anthony's also working on improving the look of the text in that countertop. You know, instead of having the computer screen face this way, have it, you know, kind of face this way, more vertical, and just making it look more kind of consistent and polished. Right now we have the RFID checkout pad buried under that countertop, and we probably won't do that with the new countertop. We'll just bring the pad up. I don't think the pad is necessarily, I don't think it doesn't look nice. It's more of, this is where to put your books. So before we've had like vinyl and stuff there, so you put your books here and they kind of scrape off and different things. So we're working on that. We've been deploying our RFID money on some new self-check units, as you've seen, the new gates last year, that kind of thing. So this would just continue to round out that project, which we do have money for. We've been saving money annually towards that project, and we've been able to, really put some spending into it, and hopefully it'll pay off and be improved kind of appearance and functionality of that front area. So we hope that'll work really well. It'll take us a little while to get the whole shelves, and then we'll just have to kind of get some more customer feedback and see how it's working there. But that's a new initiative. We also got some money in this year's budget to, I guess I would say, extend the life of our carpet in the adult wing. The vast majority of the carpet in the shelves and other areas is pretty good. It's just this heavy duty traffic path. And so we've been talking to some carpet people to see if there's a way to, drop in some carpet tile that would brighten it, freshen it, give it more life, because it is such an ordeal to recarpet under shelves. But if you could put it off 5 or 10 more years, we would actually do that. So that's kind of underway too. We're working with facilities. Everyone has an opinion when it comes to those kind of things, and we haven't landed on a consensus yet. Facilities would love to do luxury vinyl plank, and the library doesn't need one more surface that makes any noise, so we're against that. I like more of a sporadic edge, and one of the facilities guys like a real clean edge path, and I feel like that looks a little casino to me. I guess we'll continue to work on that design, but so yeah, staffing changes are a big deal. We did, as part of that market compensation study that was undertaken, our flex staff is actually going to benefit considerably from that. Our flex wages came back low, so they're going to adjust everyone this month. Pages, for example, are starting out at $9 an hour, and we've already started them at like $7.25 or something. So there's that, and then we've also had the opportunity to consider compression based on where people are in the range based on longevity. So adjustments have been made for both base salary and for progression to recognize people's time in that position and their experience and expertise. So we're meeting with our flex employees in 2 weeks. The HR directors scheduled a couple of meetings so that they can fully understand that. So that's positive for us. No one lost any funding in that. No one's salary went down in that. They did reset a couple of our ranges slightly lower in new hires, but no one's salary gets reduced. It's just when you hire you, and those are the full-time employees, and it's not a whole lot, it's just a little bit. And it was a pretty comprehensive market study, so we have benefited from competitive wages before, and this will just keep us competitive, and then we will still have the ability to move people through the ranges. So we're working on that. So that's kind of a lot of just rapid fire information, but it's pretty much what we've been up to this summer. It's been a good summer. So any questions, any thoughts or ideas?
All I can say again, Charlene, is I'm amazed at what y'all are doing in the midst of all of this. It's just amazing to me how you are accomplishing so much. It's very impressive.
Staff does a great job. They're still totally in it to serve, and they're they're doing wonderfully. They're example setters for everyone for me. Really good.
The only question that I have is something that you have no control over since this is a city decision, but it does seem to me to be counterproductive to essentially take people off their and with these positions that no longer have benefits when you're looking to hire additional people and they may not be out there. I mean, that seems to be one of the problems that we see nationwide, is that while there are a number of people who don't have jobs, that there is not a fit between the people who are searching for jobs and the people who are trying to hire. And so it does seem to me that this is sort of counterproductive to do this at this point. But again, that's a city decision, so that's not a library decision. But
we have been able to make more benefited hours by combining the positions. So the position-wise, I think we're going to come out of it really well. It's just a friend human element in it, and some of those folks are anxious to have a full-time job versus a part-time job. It's just a matter of trying to ask people to make that decision, and that's been the most uncomfortable part. But we have been able to do quite a bit in terms of combining jobs into full-time jobs. Some of it did require a little bit of reduction in, say, instead of a librarian, an associate librarian. And sometimes that maybe makes great sense given where they are needed in the hierarchy of the position. So we feel really good about it, except just, the challenge of getting through the human element. It would be nice to let everyone always kind of just decide with no additional pressure or no additional impetus. But for a lot of people, it's going to do great. It's going to work out well. Most of the folks are already eligible for Medicare, so some of them have not been taking the benefits for that reason. But nevertheless, I mean, we don't want to have to see people make decisions, but I think for a lot of them, they're excited for the next move, and others are excited to become full-time workers. It just kind of depends on getting through the emotion of it has been less than ideal for a lot. But,
yeah.
And they didn't do anything wrong. A lot of them were hired as part-time individuals years ago because we still have a 69-hour schedule, open hours, and so nobody did anything wrong. But like Mark Pullum is one of the employees who's already retired from the Utah State Retirement System as a teacher, and so he could at some point choose to work with us as a flex, but he's been looking at different roles at Health Center Theater, and he's like, I would take more roles at Health Center Theater if I didn't work here. And so I mean, there's some moments that I'm sure people are feeling blue about and dark about, and some that they're feeling lighter and excited about, and it's just balancing, because you have a work family, and nobody wants to see the work family. But overall, we are going to flesh out more full-time jobs. So I feel like the city has been trying to work with us on that, and they recognize it less than I do. So.
It's interesting you had so many of those part-time employees. Is that common in libraries to have quite a few rather than full-time, or?
It's not common anymore. Definitely the market study did not reveal hardly any benefited employees in kind of municipal government. And traditionally it's because, the cost of a part-time benefited employee is not just half of what it costs for a full-time benefited employee, but we have some in our police department and in our dispatch, and those needed to be changed out. We needed to reduce those to full-time positions. There was a lot of scheduling issues and other things in trying to manage that part-time position. So I think that to make it fair, as fair gets, and jobs are, personal jobs are on the line, it's part of the decision. But you know, and some of the people have had those positions for, you know, 20 plus years, 30 years. So back in the day, I think it was totally understandable, but benefit costs have changed a lot in the last decade, let alone the last 30 years. So, so yeah, we'll see, and they kind of come back and work as flex, and they would be eligible to be at the highest range of flex for their current position if they decided that they wanted to do that. And I think some are looking at it, but ultimately, not that many people miss this once they retire. So. Just to put it plainly, not that many people miss it that much. But free time is, you know, a pretty precious commodity after work, I think. The city council has asked for a little 10-minute presentation next week. I know that we can do it by Zoom because they have a Zoom room option for that. Would you be available for that, Mary, or is anyone available if we put together a short presentation, or?
Yeah, as long as the COVID protocols are in there, as long as, I mean, if when you said we have a Zoom room, so what does that room consist of? Because I really am very, very cautious about where I go.
You just Zoom from home.
Oh,
yeah.
fine, yeah. No problem.
They just invite you into the meeting through, they just invite you into the meeting as a Zoom presenter.
Sure, no problem.
They certainly are encouraging people to wear masks in those meetings, but you know, people do or they do not. But they said we could do it through that option, no problem. And we would just put together maybe a few of the highlights that we just went over with you guys now. And it doesn't have to be anything really lengthy, but those are some of the highlights we were thinking of including. If there's anything in particular that you think we should include, we would be happy to.
Yeah. Well, obviously the summer reading program looks like you've done well during a really impossible situation, because the summer has been, what do you call it, a schizophrenic summer. It started out well and then it went quickly downhill. Yeah. So it's been difficult.
And the outreach team has been doing really, really well. I mean, they moved to a more gamified program several years ago so that people could earn these badges and, you know, different things like that. And I think it speaks to the current, you know, atmosphere of what kids are liking to do, because they're combining reading with these little challenges or with these little activities, and the badges kind of, you know, showed the progress that they were making and as they moved through their reading goals and their other types of things. So I think that they were really smart to get ahead of that, so that we could offer more of these options as, you know, COVID hit, or as people still want to do it while they're traveling for the summer, or still want to do it on their time versus everyone comes to the program all at once. So they were really, really smart to get ahead of that several years ago, and it's paid off for us.
Yeah, great.
So I can put together some of that information and send it out ahead of time, and then I would get all the information for anyone who wants to join from the tech guys who manage the meetings, but definitely be doing those presented as an option.
Okay. Well, I'd be happy to do that. What about anybody else want to do it?
I have a conflict that night, so I wouldn't be able to.
So I should be able to get to you, but pretty close at 6. So
okay.
I'd say 6 to 6:15 or so, if they do it before the public comment.
Okay. That's fine. So I just assumed that we just log on and then we just stay there until they call us. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll have them walk you through it so I fully understand it, but I'll get that information and send it out.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm not the most technologically savvy person there is. Yeah, Courtney, did you want to participate too?
I think Courtney logged off,
Oh, did she log off?
maybe she got booted
I
off.
don't see her.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever you need me to do, I'll be happy to do, Charlene.
We'll put it together and then send it out ahead of time so you can look at it. Tomorrow
Okay.
is our United Way Day of Caring, so library employees are, certainly most of us are still working in the library. I'll be out at the Family Sport Theater Center. Others are helping winterize the Sarah Pool. It's our day of service, kind of a thing for the morning, our morning service, and then I will put some things together and send it out to you.
Okay, that sounds great. Okay.
Anything else that you can get to you guys or respond to at all?
You just got smiley faces all around your sweater. Yes, it's very cute.
Well, I'm sometimes a low attention span.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions.
Yeah.
Well,
I have one question.
Good.
That was my question too for you, Suzanne, is how are you doing? How's your baby?
She's great. She's doing really well. She's 2.5 months old now, and she's just adorable. So we're really happy. And she actually is a really good sleeper. So we're very grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started work last week again. I'm actually just working part-time, mostly from home. So it's going well so far.
Good.
But thanks for asking.
For no one's industry is taking a harder hit than yours, but
Yeah. That's
it's funny, people we're still very busy in booking events right and left, even through the end of the year. So I don't know if people just don't care or what the deal is, but it's been okay. Better than we thought it would be, I guess.
thanks for optimism,
great. Well, I guess if there's no new business, do we have we're down to no people. Do we have anyone who would like to motion that we adjourn? And I don't know if I can second it, but I guess we have to.
Thank you
Okay,
guys so much. We really appreciate it.
great. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you for all the things you do.
Oh, thank you guys. You're the best.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to you soon, Charlene.
Thank you.